the cool thing is we did it together. I won't lie. That's been absolutely amazing. And let's see how many people in your audience I can really piss off right now. But here's something I find absolutely fascinating. Women are very good at working through other people. So when I think about who I would be without my wife, I am not, I have the chills right now. I would not be the person I am. When we got together, one of the first things I said to her, which she mentioned earlier, was, you can ask anything of me, literally. Let me know. How can I make you happy? Don't ever ask me to not be ambitious. It is the one thing that is at the core of who I am and my pursuit of greatness and getting better and all of that. So, but in that, like, this woman pushed me to be great. In moments of weakness, she would big me up. She would make me feel better. She would lift me up and encourage me to, like, go back out. Like, come on, you can do it. In moments of some of the hardest negotiations in my life, this woman was in my ear like, yo, let me tell you, do this, ask for this, push here. I'm telling you there's weakness there. And I was like, yo, I used to joke and say, you're like Lady Macbeth. She's behind the scenes, like making sure that I'm rising up and that I'm becoming everything that I can, be holding me to a standard. And that was so intoxicating for me because she always made me feel loved. And it was like, if you fall, I'm going to be there. I'm going to support you. I'm going to lift you back up. It was like this beautiful thing, but she was always like, hey, you can be better. You can be more. And that was so what I needed. It was so rad. And I loved it so much. And I remember one time, I'm not a crier, but this was probably a few years ago. And we were in like some deep discussion and I started to cry because I was like, you're never going to get the credit for who I've become that you deserve. Like, you've been so patient in the backgrounds to help me grow and to give me the space and to be encouraging and to never make me feel bad when I fell. But I was like, oh my God, the person I would be so much less without you. And I was like, that is such like this female thing of like, that there was an ability for her to find joy in who I was becoming by pushing me and by having a role and watching me ascend. She spent 8 years as a housewife, but that is so misleading to what was actually happening. It's just so hard to encapsulate the messy truth of the reality. But the reality is behind the scenes. She wanted to know, like, what's the dream? Where are we going? How can I help? Like, always facilitating and pushing me forward. It was rad, man. And so I was just like always awestruck with how there seemed to be very little difference for her, whether it was my success or her direct success. Like, she was just so able to move between. And look, as she began to realize, actually, no, I want to be in the fight myself. I want to be an entrepreneur. Like, we made that transition that you could literally do a whole thing just on that. But like, she was able to move and become the person that she wanted to become. But that really powerful ability to help me become who I wanted to become was something that I will value and cherish until the end of time. It's so powerful. I've completely lost track of what you asked.
So you didn't actually
ask the question. What was the original question?
It was about money.
Oh, yeah. So I will put no, we totally lost it. But so through all of that, because it was a journey that we took together, and I always felt like she added equal value. It was like, we've always said, look, money could come, could go. I'm hyper aware that nothing is guaranteed. So just because you've had success doesn't mean that it'll stay forever. And our thing is, the being together is the one thing that is as close to bulletproof as you're going to get. Like, that's always the thing I can retreat to and feel good about. So we've always said one phrase, sink or swim, we go together. So as long as we have each other, we'll be fine. I only fear two things: brain damage, because I can't rebuild after that, and I can't have the emotional life that I want to have, and losing her, because a shared life is the greatest joy, and it's the only thing there's no shortcut to. So if something happened to her, I could start over. I could find somebody else, and I believe that. I would find love again for sure. But we've been together for 20 years, and it's like, to get that back, I would have to live 20 years in real time with somebody else.
And I just want to add to that, like he said, money can come and go. There's never a guarantee. And so for us, it's finding the joy in the small things. And I deliberately, actively tell myself that constantly. And I can't remember who said it. Oh God, I wish I could. But they said, Laird Hamilton's wife, Reese, Gabby Reese, thank you, God. So Gabby Reese turned around, and I love this, and it hit me so hard and stuck with me since. She's like, every day I walk down the stairs And when I see Led, I give him a kiss because there's no guarantee he's always going to be sitting there. And I was like, oh my God, like that hit me so much. And I remind myself that every time now. And when I see him, I just go up to him and I kiss him and I hug him. And I'm just like, I just want to hug you because you're here.
But we don't do that with the bank statement. And like, I say that knowing that it's going to get people to laugh, but like really think about that. So it's like, man, we are wired, getting back to the brain, we are wired to have this outsized response to somebody looking at you with love, and knowing that they're going to be there. Money's powerful. Money's rad. It's better than people think. It just isn't what people think. Like most people have a different view of what money can do. Money can't touch how you feel about yourself. It can't. And I'm very grateful for the way in which we got wealthy, which was we built a ton of value in something. And even though on paper we were worth hundreds of millions of dollars, we were living a normal middle-class life. And so there was this like weird discrepancy of, yes, I guess we're like super rich, but it actually doesn't feel like that because I don't have a lot of money in the bank account. I have a lot of value in a company. And then we took an investment and sold a piece of that company. So literally we're sitting there with our banking app hitting refresh, refresh, refresh because we knew the money was going to hit the account. And you go from a normal bank account to like crazy commas and zeros, literally like that. And in that moment, I realized, oh my God, every insecurity I've ever had in my life, I still have. And so even though I now have all this money, it has affected how I feel about myself exactly zero. But what I had to do to change myself in order to become capable of generating the wealth, that made me feel good about myself. So it's like, look, you may never get wealth, but the struggle is a guarantee. So put all of your investment into the struggle being something that fills you up. If you do that, you're bold.
And that's what we did with our relationship. It's when the times were really tough and I was collecting coupons and literally counting every penny, I found joy in it. I turned it into a game. We would do carpet picnics because we couldn't afford to go out for dinner, and so we turned it into a game. And so even now, it's like we still do those small little things that are just super fun and have nothing to do with money. And it's just us connecting. And we actively, going back to what you were saying earlier, Andrew, about it being work, it is work. And so even with this, it has been very deliberate that I do not put money or value money over my relationship with my husband. And I make sure that we do that. So it's his birthday, we couldn't go out, right? Because of the quarantine. It was like last month. And so it's like, okay, normally we would do a big trip, right? Which is a lot of money. And so I was just like, this is amazing. Now I can think about showing him ways that I love him without money. And so how do I do that? And it becomes like this thing where we connect. And yeah.